I used to hate my birthday. For the past couple of years, every time it came round to my birthday, I would get the sense of dread, the sense of I've not accomplished anything, the sense of feeling like I'm a failure. And I never used to feel like that. It was only recently, the past couple of years, where I really started getting low every time that day swung round in the year. And I feel like a lot of men have been facing these types of feelings as well. And it's actually a really interesting topic. So I'm going to explain why you hate your birthday and what you can do about it. See, it was when I was 20, I decided that I wanted to leave. So I've been living in Scotland my whole life, and I just decided I'd had enough because I just felt miserable living here. So I decided, instead of reading more self-help books, because I was reading a lot of them, instead of going to the gym more, I decided that I was going to change my environment. I moved to the other side of the world, lived in Sydney, Australia. I lived there for about 2 years, and I had an amazing time. Completely changed the way I saw life and the way I saw myself. And I feel like an environmental change was a big part of that. But ever since then, when it comes round to my birthday, that sense of dread creeps back in. And I think for a lot of men, the reason why they hate their birthday is because it's a sign that another year has passed and you weigh yourself up to what achievements you've accomplished, right? You think, okay, years passed, what have I actually achieved? What have I done with my life? Am I closer to getting what I want, or have I even figured out what it is that I want to do with my life? So I feel like a lot of men get to that point where they feel like, oh, I've not done anything. My life has been a waste of time, and they get all upset and miserable, because that's the way I used to feel. Right? So it's a very common thing men feel, and I realised the only way to get out of it is through movement. So it's through actually moving out of the environment where these feelings take place. Because when I was at home, living in Scotland, that's when the first glimpses of these feelings took place, of me feeling dread and when I hated my birthday. So every year when it comes back to my birthday and I'm still in the same place, if I'm sleeping in the same bedroom, those feelings come back, not because of me, but because the environment creates those feelings in my mind. So the technique is to change your environment, is to change where you are, because your environment is what creates your feelings. Your feelings don't dictate how you are. Your environment dictates how you feel. So what I did in my most recent birthday, because I could feel the sense of dread creeping up, I could feel that sense of I've not achieved anything, even if that wasn't true. I could have achieved 10 marathons, a gold medal in the Olympics, and I know I still would have felt the same way. So it's got nothing to do with me. It's just the same year in the same environment, those feelings will come naturally. So what I did on my birthday instead was I decided to climb a mountain. I got a ferry over to one of the near islands where I live, and I climbed a mountain. It's called Goat Fell. It only took me about 3 hours to get to the top and back down again. And when I reached the top, it was a big sense of accomplishment. I did it by myself just because I wanted to feel like I'd accomplished something. And it sounds backwards, but I never felt any sense of dread doing that. As you probably would imagine, climbing a mountain is probably one of the most dreadful, physically draining things you can do. Because it's hard, it's long, you're sweaty. There's no quick fun out of it. I wasn't drinking, I wasn't partying, I wasn't filling my face with cake. Things a lot of people normally would do on their birthday. Who climbs a mountain on their birthday? But I never felt any dread on this day because I was outside of that environment. I put myself in a brand new environment I'd never been before. So my brain had reset, and my brain wasn't thinking about old thinking patterns. It was thinking about new patterns of thought, which is why how I managed to reset my brain so that I didn't hate my birthday. I actually really enjoyed my birthday, even though climbing mountains isn't really something that I enjoy doing. It's just a sense of changing where you are, putting yourself outside of your comfort zone so that you can actually enjoy different experiences and different patterns of thought that you would have never thought of otherwise if you just stayed in your room and just done nothing with your day. You know, if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, you'll eventually start creeping in negative thoughts. And then the negative thoughts only happen when you're in that environment. And if that environment is a place where you are always in, say it's your bedroom or your home, then it becomes really easy for those negative thoughts in your mind to keep coming back and back. No amount of motivational videos, no self-help book will ever stop those thoughts coming in. No matter how much you want them to disappear, you can't get rid of them if you don't change the environment where they occur.